Hey there, it's Mandee Montana. Are you taking great care of your skin? You know I use great products. I take my vitamins and I drink plenty of water, but I could be better about applying sunscreen daily and making sure my skin is protected against premature aging. What about you? Well, I've got great news. I have a solution. It's the new Premium Diamond Glow Treatment at Hand and Stone Massage and Facial Spa in Tyler. I love it. I went recently and it exfoliates and hydrates your skin at the same time. Amazing, right? My skin feels so soft and silky after. You have to try it. If you've never had a facial before, they have different options at Hand and Stone, like hydrating and brightening. But if you're struggling with dark spots, hyperpigmentation, sun damage, sallow skin, enlarged pores, or maybe oily skin, this is the treatment for you. If you want your skin to glow and look and feel amazing, book the Diamond Glow. Schedule now by visiting Hand and Stone Massage and Facial Spa in the Cumberland Shopping Center in Tyler or online at handandstonetyler.com.
Welcome to the Celebrating Women podcast, hosted by Mandee Montana, a podcast that celebrates women, their stories, their struggles, and ability to overcome. Conversations that celebrate their gifts, their talents, and courage. It's the Celebrating Women podcast, presented by Hand and Stone Massage and Facial Spa in Tyler, Texas. With over 20 massage therapists and 6 estheticians, certified and trained in multiple protocols, you can get an affordable massage or facial located right here in the East Texas area. Book your appointment today. Stop by the spa in the Cumberland Shopping Center in Tyler or online at handandstonetyler.com. Welcome to a special episode of the Celebrating Women podcast. I'm Mandee Montana, here with my good friend, Kathy Williams-Bosley, and we're going to talk about sports.
I'm so excited. You have me pretending in my head that I'm going to get on a balance beam and do a back walkover later.
Because the Olympics are here, the Paris Olympics. We're both very excited about it. And there's quite a few Texas athletes going to Paris.
Yes. It's Texas, so you would expect nothing less than to have a large showing in whatever we're competing in. But how exciting. These guys have trained all these years, and now they get to go and represent Texas and America.
Some of them returning to a second or third, maybe a fourth Olympics. I'm not sure. I haven't done the actual math on that. But we're going to talk a little bit about, we're going to save some of the best for last. We're going to talk a little bit about Simone Biles and some of the women's and men's gymnasts that are going and a couple of highlights at the end. But I'm going to quickly run through who you're going to be watching for as Texas athletes. So, Kathy, in basketball, we have someone that's been in the news over the years, Brittany Griner of Houston.
Oh, yeah.
Baylor alum.
Yes.
She'll be competing again on the women's basketball team. This will be her third Olympics. In boxing, we have 2 men, Roscoe Hill of Spring. He'll be boxing in the flyweight competition, while Joshua Edwards of Houston will be competing in the super heavyweights.
Okay.
We have 1 woman competing in boxing.
How exciting.
Yes, Jennifer Lozano of Laredo. She'll be competing in flyweight.
Okay.
And then there's a new competition where we
I'm
have...
really excited about
right?
this.
So, breakdancing.
Yes.
They're calling it breaking.
Breaking, yes.
But it's going to be featured in the Olympics this year. And Jeffrey Lewis of Houston will be representing Texas.
Houston, of course. We would be the ones to send a breaker.
In cycling, we have Grant Kuntz of Houston. Diving, we've got some women. Cassidy Cook of the Woodlands. She'll be competing in the women's synchro 3-meter springboard. And Allison Gibson of Austin will be competing in the women's 3-meter springboard.
Okay.
Field hockey has a Lady Texan, Kelsey Bing of Houston.
Yay.
We've heard this name quite a bit over the last couple of years. In golf, Scotty Scheffler of Dallas.
Fun. How exciting to have golf in the Olympics. I didn't realize it was back in the way it is, and to have Scotty doing it. Oh my, and to represent Texas again.
Yes.
So exciting.
Yes. It took like a 112-year hiatus. We were curious. We were like, wait a minute, golf, the Olympics?
And why did it take a break, and why is it back? Both questions.
Not for this podcast, but yes, we have questions. Again, we're going to highlight gymnastics at the end, but I'll quickly run through the ladies that are competing. We've got Simone Biles of Spring.
Of course.
Asher Hong of Tomball, gentlemen. And Hesley Rivera is currently in Plano. She's originally from New Jersey. And Jocelyn Roberson of Texarkana will be there as an alternate. Both of those young ladies are young. They're both 16.
Oh, yeah.
So exciting. In rugby, we've got a couple of gentlemen from the Houston area. Orizon Beiser of the Woodlands and Kevin Williams of Houston.
In shooting, a couple of women and a man. Austin Smith of Keller will be competing in women's skeet. Connor Prince of Burleson in men's skeet. And Ryan Phillips of Gale will be competing in women's trap. In soccer, we have Jaden Shaw of Frisco. And sport climbing, I want to watch this. I'm going to have to find this somewhere on Peacock or something, because this is interesting. Sam Watson of Southlake. I imagine it's like rock climbing, but...
he hangs out at REI every day and climbs that little rock climbing in there.
Swimming, we've got, Simone Manuel of Sugarland, Shane Cassis of McAllen, and David Johnston of Dallas. And Taekwondo, an Olympic sport. Jonathan Healy of Spring. Of course, we're going to have some track and field competitors.
Of course, Carl Lewis got that going so strongly in Houston all those years ago.
Joseph Brown of Mansfield. Bryce Hopple of Midland. Alicia Johnson of Spring. Jasmine Moore in Grand Prairie. Sha'Carri Richardson of Dallas. And Jacob Wooten of Tomball. And then in volleyball, we've got Avery Skinner from Katy, and forgive me, I have not heard this woman's name pronounced, Chiaka Agbagu of
that
Capel.
Sounded great. Oh, I want to meet her.
Right? It's a very interesting name. I hope I said it correctly.
I think you did beautifully.
So those are our Texas athletes. And then, of course, Kathy and I both, big gymnastics fans over the years. It's the highlight of the Olympics, especially. I like to watch the men, but the women's gymnastics have always been inspirational to me.
Who was the first gymnast you remember?
The first that I remember is probably Mary Lou Retton, but I got really into watching the whole Carrie Strug thing in 1996. Yeah.
And all that was so Bella Caroli and everything.
Yeah.
And he comes from, so it all starts with Nadia Comaneci, who I remember when I think I'm 7 or 8. I don't remember what Olympics that would have been. Let's not say it because let's not date me. But man, I remember literally, and I know all the girls of my age, and this is how Mary Lou Retton tells her story too. We all watch it, and then we're in the living room, and then, the edge of my couch became a balance beam. And I remember walking along my couch had that it was weird, but anyway, so I could walk along it and it became a balance beam. I'd never been on a balance beam. I was very good at it. Apparently I'm very balanced. I would sit in the splits in front of the TV. I watched and we didn't have, I don't even think we had a VCR at that time. So there was no way I recorded it. I just watched everything she did. And she was just amazing. And then to watch everyone since her has been so fun. And to see Simone, this is her third, I looked up, this is her third Olympics. To see her also watch the same things, get Bella Caroli there in Houston and get to be a part of all that group that has soared all these years and what they've grown in the Houston area to train for the Olympics. But to get to see all of that and then perfect it the way she has. She is such an incredible, her body is a machine. She is so strong at every move, at everything she does. There's just nothing. We remember Mary Lou Retton getting that 10.
Yes.
And what a big moment that was back then.
Oh, yeah.
Don't you agree? I feel like Simone lives on that level. Most of her performances sit at wasn't that a 10? I think that's a 10. Let me get my 10 card.
Yeah, she's sort of she's the icon of the sport at this point, and she's what everybody else is living up to. And I was watching some of the, the Olympic trials and the women that were making Team USA, and these girls, especially the two 16-year-olds, have grown up watching Simone Biles.
Those are the ones when they were little
watching.
kids, they watched Simone Biles.
And now they're competing with her
that's
at the Olympics, which is just
And imagine what their level is. So if you've watched somebody that is that good, now you're going to try that much harder.
And training with her. They showed a couple of just really short little behind the scenes with some of these young ladies training alongside Simone and watching her kind of mentor them. And
she's had such a great attitude too. Have you seen her? They call her not the grandma. Is it grandma? I think they call it the grandma.
Yeah, I think so.
And she embraces it. And what is she, 20? What did we do?
27?
Yeah, 27 years old. And to even consider herself so old in her sport. But when you watch her, she is hitting it just as hard as any 16-year-old is. Absolutely. The energy, the balance, flexibility, all the things. So what a funny, quirky thing to have her be the grandma of the team.
And to have her come back after, she's had such a mental health journey, having the twisties at the last Olympics and just withdrawing.
Yeah.
To me, that was such a strong move. To be able to say, I'm not going to risk injury. I'm not okay.
So I'm going to withdraw.
I remember valuing that moment very much.
Yeah.
And thinking, you go, girl, take care of yourself. Because
Exactly.
the athletes before that didn't know to. They didn't know to say
Right.
no or to say, wait, or stop, let me consider this. So proud of her for doing that.
Me
And the
too.
millions of young women who watched and got to see that, or anyone who got to see it and say, wait a minute, you mean I can step back from life and go see to my mental health? Okay.
Yeah.
So thank you, Simone.
Big proponent of that.
Yes.
I really felt like she put mental health on such a big stage at that point. And I know that she had people that were not happy with her over that. She received a lot of criticism, but I just want to say I was cheering for her in that moment.
Absolutely.
Would I have liked to see her compete at her highest level and win gold and do it for the team? Yes.
But not at the cost of her mental health.
Correct. And she would have liked to have seen that too, but she wasn't in a place where she could compete at that level. And so to withdraw, it was a power move.
And imagine the impact she has on all the ones who come behind her, that they stop and they get to collect themselves and say, wait a minute. Because we do remember Carrie. When you watched her,
Carrie
remember
Struck.
she goes ahead. Yeah, she goes ahead and does that vault with a broken foot.
Yeah.
So and I get it. I get Olympic athletes are known and notorious for doing something even when it hurts or it's hard or whatever. But I love that Simone came along and said, wait a minute, you still got to use this body for the rest of your life, and you still have to work it with this mind and this heart and who you are. You know, it is okay to stop and get yourself together at whatever moment that means, instead of just pushing ahead like a train down a track.
I think they're both strong moves, right?
Oh, yeah.
In their moments, in their time. And I had forgotten, I had to look it up, which I'm surprised I had forgotten this, but that 96 Olympics was in Atlanta. So Atlanta, Georgia, it was here in the U.S. It was a big deal. There were a lot of expectations riding on that for the women's gymnastics team. I think they called them like the Magnificent Seven.
I think they were, yeah.
I think that's what they like had a name. There have been a few
was
documentaries.
incredible.
If you're
Yeah.
like kind of getting into the Olympic mood, there's some good things and bad things to watch when it comes to women's gymnastics over the last couple of decades. But I'm excited, and I'm excited to watch Simone's documentary. It's recently been released on Netflix.
And I would say Simone is ushering in. That's what her deciding to
healthy
do what she
era.
did
Yes.
has made there be boundaries in women's gymnastics that didn't exist for a long time. So now the little Nadias and all the ones dreaming of coming up and doing this can do it and feel safe and feel healthy and do it the right way. So I'm so thankful that Simone has done that. Did you happen to see the unveiling of all the leotards the other day? I was just curious. I didn't know.
No,
so
I
go
did
watch
not.
that. Go find that
Okay.
video. It's pretty exciting because they're in France and they're in Paris, so they decided to do a unveiling and show all the leotards, and they've never done that before. They just came out in
But
the
it's
next leotard,
Paris,
the next, so
fashion.
they decided to do it fashion-wise. Yeah.
I am too, and I'm just looking so forward to watching the Olympics and continuing our conversation off the mic. Kathy, thanks for coming in to do this special episode with me.
Yes, I think it's going to be exciting to watch all the Olympics and see all of our Texans competing. Of course, as Texans, we're all going to be so proud of them, and as Americans, and it's just going to be a really neat Olympics.
The Celebrating Women podcast wants to hear from you. Email us a voice message to celebratingwomenpodcast@gmail.com. We would love to hear your story or the story of an incredible woman you know. Become part of the conversation on social media. Facebook.com/celebratingwomenpodcast. On Instagram, search Celebrating Women Podcast. The Celebrating Women podcast has been presented by Hand and Stone Massage and Facial Spa in Tyler, Texas. Book your appointment today. Stop by the spa in Cumberland Shopping Center or online at handandstonetyler.com. Support the show for as little as $3 per month at celebratingwomenpodcast.buzzsprout.com or visit our show notes. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to subscribe to the Celebrating Women podcast.
Hey guys, it's Mandee. Have you been struggling to lose those extra pounds? Oh, I know. I have totally been there. An extra, 15 to 20 pounds can totally creep up on you in perimenopause. Or at least it has with me. And I think I found it early. I hope it's not happening to you. But if it is, I've got the solution. You can lose up to 15 pounds in 8 days with an incredible product line that I found and I want to share with you. Get a custom product recommendation with a complimentary wellness screening in the show notes. Just click Zing with Mandee.